Hello guys, I'm back again. This time I aim to provide some answers to the questions that you may have submitted yourself or may have been thinking. And these are sort of regular questions that are often going to surface when an individual is following an eating plan, because there is lots of different sort of perceptions of what certain types of food groups are and whether you can eat and whether you can't eat. So hopefully you've all been able to view the 7 days of detox overview, which basically just tells you what the detox is about, what the benefits of a detox are in general. But I may not have answered all your questions, so I just thought I'd put these together so that if you are thinking the same as what somebody else has, perhaps it'll save you asking a question in the future. But more importantly is getting the next 7 days right. As part of the BT program, it's 12 weeks, so this is only 7 days. It's the first phase of the BT program, so as the first phase it's essential that we get that phase right. As with the other 3 phases, there will be more questions, and those questions will differ from phase 1, so we'll challenge those as the questions come along. So to kick us off, here's just a few questions at random, no particular order. But if we start off on a morning with the smoothie, I've been asked why a smoothie and why that the need to add protein powder, whey protein, into the smoothie. So firstly, the smoothie is just to ensure a critical window for your eating plan during the day is breakfast. You'll have heard that you should dine like a king on a morning and eat like a pauper on an evening. So that suggests that you should have a good breakfast start. So normally, as you'll find within the metabolic effective eating stage with the shock days, you'll be having some big breakfasts and you'll be having a lot of food because you're needing that energy source to set you up to fuel the day. Here, not so much. It's essential that we get protein initially, so we'll get the protein on board because our body's in a catabolic state through sleep during the night, so we need to kickstart the body. The body needs to be ready and fired up for exercise. What I would recommend any individual that is participating in the early rise or early morning PTs, that they would just have maybe as a snack beforehand. Go for sort of a slow releasing sugar fruit like an apple or a pear. Have that before and then keep the smoothie for when they return, and try to have that smoothie within an hour of your early riser boot camp or your personal training. So it means that by a smoothie we're ensuring that we're not possibly eating some of the foods that we should try to eliminate. So the likes of wheat, it's so easy to pick up a cereal product and think, oh, you know, this will be fine. I can guarantee that most cereal products will have either gluten or wheat. So yes, you can vary from the breakfast. You will see in the list of other foods I have got gluten-free porridge. So by all means, if you need a variation, but for 7 days, why not just stick to the 7 days of smoothies? I put protein in there just purely because it's going to add some taste and it's going to increase your protein intake. Throughout this, what the key is that we're trying to exercise as much as possible. We're trying to use muscles that we don't normally use, so we need to repair those muscles as much as possible. That is one of the key elements of protein, to repair muscle tissue that we damage through exercise. But it's going to set us up for the day as well if we get that protein intake early on, because you'll find throughout the rest of the day you might not necessarily be getting a lot of the nutrients, including protein, as what you could throughout the MEE phase of the diet. So hopefully that answers that question. I've been asked what can you drink throughout this process, because all the food is there for you. I've given you the seven breakfasts, the 7 lunches and the 7 dinners, but maybe it's neglected what you can actually drink. So this is quite simple. If you refer to the list, you'll see that There's no caffeine in there, so that's your teas and your coffee out straight away. I've been asked, can you have decaf tea? Yes, you can, but because this is a detox and a little bit more strict than the MEE phase, I would recommend that you just try to avoid tea and coffee, the decaf. Green tea's fine, but what I would recommend is that good old-fashioned H2O. Try to add a little bit of flavour to that with lemon or lime, even a squirt of honey in there. It'll add that little bit of taste. Have it hot or cold. Try to keep your water when you're drinking. Try to ensure you've got lots of ice in there, just to make it more refreshing. Plus the fact that there's ice in there is going to reduce your body temperature, which is going to burn more calories when your body tries to return to its normal body temperature. So without a doubt, you'll see on the list caffeine, and you'll see alcohol. So there's a good indication of the things that you've got to eliminate. Without a doubt, in this 12 weeks, I'm asking that you don't consume alcohol. If there is the occasion where it sneaks in there, as long as it's in duration, in moderation, that's not too bad. But it must not creep in these 7 days. It's so critical. Otherwise, the 7 days is fruitless. I've been asked, can you eat meat within the 7 days? If you have a look through your handout, what I'll give you, what explains the kind of the overview, as well as actually going into the sort of the dinner options, as well as the list that I'll give you as additional foods that you can include in the plan, then you can see that that there will be recipes that crop up there with chicken and what have you. There's nothing wrong with meat within this detox diet. All I would say is just a general little bit of advice to try to keep your meat lean, but that's going to apply throughout the full 12 weeks of the BT program. If you decide that you are going to have meat, then just make sure you go for the leaner options, the cleaner options. So that's the meat one. Can I eat from the Power 50 food list? So if you're familiar with the formula, you'll know that you've got 50 power foods. These are great foods because, as they say, they power up your day. They provide lots of different benefits. They give you energy, they give you a brain boost. So that's a good list to follow. Can you follow those 50 foods within the detox? The easiest answer would be to say no, but you can in fact, because most of it is good old-fashioned fruit and veg. But there is things in there because there is certain foods that are going to provide energy, and especially sustained energy, like pasta, that appears in there, what you can eat in the second phase, the metabolic effective eating phase. But I would ask that you try to restrict or eliminate if possible. So that's when you go to the Power 50, yes, consume these during the detox, but avoid the pasta, the sweet potatoes. You'll find quinoa there, brown rice, bulgur wheat, couscous, and you'll find white potatoes that we try to restrict during the second phase as well. So try to avoid them, and if you do avoid them, you're going to get better results. So hopefully that answers that question. Do I need to follow the exact meals that I've provided? The meal options is in the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner. And all I would say, for 7 days, if you can do it, why deviate from the 7-day plan that I give you and take risks? If you follow these, it's options that I've carefully selected. I've put them in there for a reason. You'll know in the dinner option that there is the choice of going to the MEE cookbook. So by all means, have a look in there, and if there's something that you prefer as a dinner option, then go for that. But if you can, none of these 7 options are within the cookbook, so it's just 7 new options. If you've got the cookbook, you've been trying some of the options within the cookbook. Here's 7 new ones, and some great things in there. Off the top of my head, the likes of the moussaka, the tagine, the lamb tagine. I think there's even a curry in there, the chick curry. So they're not in the cookbook, so why not give them a try, so that when you go onto the MEE phase, you're not sicking yourself with the same types of foods. So if you can, it's good advice if you can follow those 7, as I mentioned earlier. Follow the smoothies whenever possible, rather than deviating and having an alternative breakfast. And if you try to follow the lunches, you'll see they're just good homemade soups, as well as salads. As well as that, you'll also try to keep to the dinner option wherever it is possible. So hopefully that answers that question. And I think that is round about it for the questions that you've asked. Got another one about the snacks, which I can just add in to finish. Just being asked what snacks. So if you go to the original overview which I sent out to you, all I would do is choose the snacks from the food that you can include, that can be included in the plan. So that's the fruit, the vegetables, the nuts, the beans, the lentils, that type of thing, and just try to mix it up so that you're not getting a handful of, say, almond nuts for each snack. Try to make sure that you, perhaps after breakfast, you get a handful of nuts, maybe, and fruit as well. Try to get as fruit as much as you can. That old rule about getting your 5 fruit or veg a day, that's definitely going to apply within the detox. It should apply within all stages of this program. It's just always good to get good, wholesome, natural food that's in there. So hopefully that's answered some of the questions that you might have been thinking. No doubt there's more, but hopefully through the overview and these questions and answers, you've got a clearer picture of what you can and can't do and what you need to avoid. If there is any more questions at any time when you're following this 12-week program, not just in the detox, but you've got the Facebook group, you're a member of that Facebook group, so that means you can ask questions, and you'll see that I'll answer the questions, but other guys in the group may have answers. Other guys that's in the group have completed the program in the past, and they'll have asked the same question and getting the answer from me, so they can help. So please try to use that resource whenever possible. Thanks. Bye for now.